Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Restaurant Review. I'm your perennial host, Bob Bockelman. We're in the middle of March, the Ides of March coming up there. That means for New Orleanians, St. Patrick's Day and St. Joseph Day parades, and with all the accoutrements. And if you've never been to a St. Joseph altar, it's something you really want to explore. Meanwhile, spring is slowly edging its way. We've been having cooler mornings, but warming up in the day. But I understand we're going to finally get a stretch of nice 70 degrees coming up after this weekend. Perfect for the parades we just spoke. Okay, we are here as usual on Wednesdays with a new restaurant for you, and this is really the expansion of one of the restaurants that we've had on previously many years ago. And so we're so pleased about that new location. But before we go ahead and meet the owner, the chef, and introduce the restaurant, we always go back to our archives and pull up. And this young lady is really probably our most famous and persistent vocalist and songwriter that we've had. We followed her from the very beginning of our shows, before she even had a CD out. Now she's got like 5 and appears locally here at many of the commercial places, as well as on the internet, doing a lot of work on music on there. So we want to go ahead and introduce our favorite singer here at Restaurant Review. Her name is Olga Wilhelmina, and let's see what song she's going to do from her repertoire.
I'd like to play a song for you now called Going to Catch My Baby.
My baby.
Okay, that's the lovely Olga Wilhelmina. As we said, it's our favorite artist here. She's been with us since the beginning, and just always she was doing something. She keeps me in constant. She's got a great email blast, a newsletter, and I've forgotten what she was doing, but I wasn't able to attend the most recent thing. But you can see her around town. Look for her. If you remember the name Olga, she goes by Olga, not alone the last name. And you can catch more of her music. She's got a great repertoire of songs. Okay, well, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, that we've got a brand new restaurant today, but it is really the expansion of really two other restaurants that are, some of them are in the city or nearby. And the actual name of the restaurant is Maple Cafe. There you go. And we're pleased to have the owner and chef, TJ QUTOB, here. Welcome to the show, TJ.
Hello, how are you, Bob?
Now, TJ was here with us when he had his other restaurant at another location prior to Katrina. So, of course, that kind of did him in. He moved to another place. And well, let's talk a little bit. First of all, how long have you been in the city? It's been a long time, I know.
Yeah, I've been here since 82.
82.
So it's been a long time since I've been
I knew it was a long time. I've known you a long time, but I was thinking later than that. But I knew it was the late 80s, I think, when I first met you. So
yes.
And then let's talk about your restaurant. Like we said, this is an expansion of your other two restaurants, you and your brother, right?
Yes, we do have the Maple Street Cafe and Petra's in La Plaza, but this is the newest restaurant for us, the Maple Cafe at the lakefront.
Right. So Maple Street Cafe is real easy to find. It's on Maple Street, and it's been, right now, it's the oldest of the three. And then, as I mentioned, when unfortunately he lost his Petra restaurant in Katrina, etc., which was in Old Metairie, he took over another restaurant that had been on the wane and converted it to Petra, and that's in La Plaza. And you've been there how long now? How many years?
A year and a half. Right?
That's all. I thought it was longer than that. But anyway, took something that was really gone down and really brought it up. And then now they saw this venture again in the Lakeview area out by, not West End, but we call the Marina, by Russell Marina Grill, Wasabi. There's only about 2 or 3 restaurants. This was a former restaurant chain that had been multiple types of restaurants, just in one after another. None of them successful, ran a horrible place, and they've done a beautiful job with regard to not only restoring the restaurant to make it palatable, but also, of course, bringing their well-known food. So you've opened. What's the exact address? Because I never know the name of that cross street in front of it.
124 Lake Marina Avenue.
124 Lake Marina Avenue. Like I say, if you know where Russell Marina Grill is and Wasabi right across the street, it's right next to Wasabi. So, and you can't miss it because the Marina is right across the street, the New Orleans Marina, not the Yacht Club. That's out on West End. It's at the end of Robert E. Lee, or is that what it's called? No, Robert E. Lee and what do you call the main boulevard?
West End. West End.
West End. It's called West End there. So if you know where we're talking about, it's real easy to find. And you've been open, we said, just a few weeks.
About three and a half weeks.
Excellent. Well, we're going to see some pictures of the inside. Let's talk about days that you close and you're open and times that you're open, lunch and dinner. Go ahead.
Yes. We are open 7 days a week.
7 days a week?
Lunch and dinner.
Wow.
And
what are we talking about opening? About what time for the lunch?
We open at 11 o'clock in the morning till 9:30 during the week and until 10 o'clock. And
so you're staying open straight through? No.
Yeah, we do not.
No breaks in between lunch and dinner?
No breaks.
Oh, great. So if someone wants a late lunch, like myself, you can come 2, 3 o'clock instead of going to the main.
Stay through.
Excellent. That's what we like. Okay, now, also wanted to say the website, you probably saw it on there, is, of course, www.maplecafenola. MapleCafeNola.com. And if you go on that one, you'll have access to all 3 restaurants. So don't worry, which one is that for? That's for all 3. And it'll give you the menus, locations, little description of each one of the restaurants. And I'm sure there are times and directions. So go to that if you wish to see the full menu, since we only look at a portion of it. Anything else we need to tell them? Of course, the type of food is always been, TJ's background is some Italian food and also some Middle Eastern, Mediterranean type food. Isn't that what you say?
Yes.
And some other New Orleans traditional items as well, done in New Orleans. So it's really kind of blending of all three, huh?
Yes, it is. Me and my brother are Jordanian, and so we bring a little bit of the Middle Eastern
Right.
stuff. Our background with cooking is more Italian.
Exactly.
So we bring that, and we bring a little bit of the New Orleans cuisine into it too.
And that's what's good about I know a lot of times when we hear Petra, when he had the Petra in METAIRIE, they thought it was strictly Mediterranean. And when they would go there, they'd be surprised because there were so many Italian dishes as well. And this is a situation where someone really can do both nationalities. It's not just stretching to expand the menu or to expand because there's an Italian restaurant nearby there. So it's not like they had to do Italian here because there was no Italian. They just do a really good job on Italian as well as their native cooking as well. Okay, why don't we go ahead and start now and take a look at some of the pictures. As you know, we go through a few from the menu. Always starting with appetizers, and I think we were almost showing one just a moment ago. Let's take a look at this appetizer. This is a great, I know he's got a good name for it, but these are shrimp stuffed in phyllo dough. Now, I don't know if you know what that is. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the appetizers so we can...
Stuffed shrimp in phyllo dough. It's where we take the Louisiana Gulf shrimp.
Right.
We butterfly it.
Okay.
Then we top it with a stuffing that we make. It's made with crawfish, crab meat, and shrimp.
Okay.
That it cooked with breadcrumbs. Then we top it on it. We roll it in the phyllo dough, and we bake it. Then when it's finished, we top it with a little bit lemon butter sauce.
Excellent. Very, very plain.
Delicious, yeah.
People don't know phyllo dough. It's if you've ever had baklava, it's very, it's flaky but not crusty or anything, and so it makes like a nice little wrapping. And again, it's baked, so it's not fried. And with the oil, it's just really good. It's not greasy. I would say, oh, the oil's going to make it. It's absolutely not. Wonderful use of our seafood here, both, like say, shrimp, and also having the additional filling of the crab meat and the crawfish. It's using our local favorites. So this is really a great, people say, oh, the egg rolls. Well, if that makes you feel better, call them an egg roll, But it's nothing like an egg roll other than maybe the cylindrical shape.
And Bob, on the menu itself, like we could have it as an appetizer, or some people like it as a main dish.
Wow.
So we have it as an entree where we serve it with vegetable and
That's something else. Oh, okay. So you see? Yeah. And again, one of my highest praises for TJ and his brother are their flexibility. They really are true restaurateurs because today, more and more, even though they talk about customer service and they talk about flexibility and hospitality, more and more is take it or leave it. You know, we give you this menu and you're going to like it because we do a good job of it, we feel. But too many people, would like the idea of, well, maybe could I do something a little different? Like he said, take that appetizer and make an entree. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but you wouldn't know how many restaurants would say, oh, no, we can't do that. You got to choose from what we have in the entrees. So that flexibility really makes for, I think, one of the most important parts of a restaurateur to appeal to what the diner wants. And it's very little trouble for them to expand that and put something else on the side to make it a full menu for you. All right, now let's take this next one. We're going to go back toward his Mediterranean hand. This is a great little, well, it's not really little, a great sampler of the different type of traditional Mediterranean appetizers or foods, and so they call it a mezza. What does can you translate that word? Is there a translation?
Mezza in Arabic, it means appetizers, which is a little taste or think before you eat dinner. And this is something just to open your appetite, help you start your dinner easy. And in here we have what we
why don't we take...
we have the three things. We have
we got several things here, so I want to take it slow on this plate, but we go around the plate. Go ahead, son.
We have the hummus, baba ganoush, and tabbouleh. Tabbouleh is like the salad, which is made with tomato.
That's in the center for the topping.
Tomato chopped small with chopped parsley. We take the burghul, which is the
Bulgur wheat. It's a wheat.
Yeah.
Very fine wheat.
Yeah, we soak it in water until it becomes soft.
It expands, right?
It expands, yeah. We add it to the parsley and tomato with lemon juice, olive oil, blend them together with cucumbers too. And
do you put parsley in it or cilantro?
yeah, no, just parsley.
Parsley.
A
Yes.
lot of chopped parsley.
Yes.
And
Great.
we toast them together. That's the tabbouleh. Hummus is the chickpeas.
Hummus is the basic of all Mediterranean foods.
Yes.
And it's a paste that they use the pita. Everybody knows what pita bread is, I'm sure, and you can see that there on the thing. The pita, there we have triangles, but the pita is usually scooped up, used as the fork of the knife, that we would call it, to scoop up or to dip. We would call it dipping into the paste. And tell us what both hummus and baba ganoush, which is similar but made from a special vegetable.
Hummus is made with chickpeas that we cook it down until it becomes soft. Then we blend it with tahini, which is a sesame seed paste. Lemon juice and salt and pepper, and you blend them together to you get hummus. Baba ganoush is the roasted eggplant that you roast it in the oven. Then you peel it, you blend it with garlic, a little bit tahini, lemon juice, and
it's very similar preparation. The coloring's a little different. It's hard to tell from my pictures, but usually the hummus is a very, very pale, sandy color.
The hummus, it has that little bit of smoke from roasting it in the oven. It has the little smoke taste and smoke flavor.
And eggplant. I mean, you got to like, so the baba ganoush is really much more of a distinctive flavor. Yes. Almost everyone loves hummus, but not everyone necessarily loves baba ganoush. And it's my favorite. I would eat it first over hummus any day, but they're both very good. But again, you've got to like that extra flavor.
But one of the other things, like we were saying earlier, that how we're flexible with the customer. If somebody come and he said, well, I want to try just hummus, I don't want the baba ganoush.
Baba ganoush, right.
So, well, we could take care of that.
Thank you, because a good friend of mine doesn't eat any vegetables, and that's it. So he loves hummus, but don't dare put baba ganoush on his plate. So he always asks for just straight hummus. So
we can do that.
Very, very good. But this is a great, as I call it, a sample plate. If you haven't eaten in Mediterranean, I'm very surprised now, because New Orleans has really proliferated since back in the early 90s, and there's Mediterranean restaurants, all over our city and beyond. So for you not to have any exposure to Mediterranean means you really don't go out to eat much, or you're very narrow in your focus. So the hummus and the pita bread are just synonymous with Mediterranean food. The tabbouleh and the baba ganoush is always present, but not necessarily always put together like this. So most people will just order a hummus appetizer with the pita and eat that. And it's a shame, because you're missing two other tastes, especially that tabbouleh. I love salad, and that is just, without having lettuce and all that complicated, very pure salad, which I eat by itself. It does not have to be eaten with either one of those other two ingredients. Okay, so this is great, because no matter whether you're 2 or 4 at the table, you've got more than enough for everyone to really get a representative sample of the food before you would actually choose your entree. All right, we've got one more. Now, this one is going to seem, I don't want to say strange, but obviously it's not as Mediterranean. I'm sure it's more of the Italian, and that is mussels. Even though we mostly think of mussels, we think of the French cooked in white wine, or the Japanese do it in sake, but the Italians do it, and I assume that's where you've gotten your wonderful using more tomatoes. Give me a little bit.
Definitely, yes. This is the steamed mussels in the tomato sauce. But what we do lately, mussels becoming very popular. A lot more people are eating mussel than they used to. And the way we do it is very simple and very delicious. It's we steam the mussel separate, then we cook it with a little onion, garlic, roasted peppers, and we add the mussels and tomato basil sauce to it, and it's absolutely delicious.
It is, but it is a little different because of the addition of the tomato.
Yes,
it's going to be so. If you say, "Oh, I've had that at another restaurant," but usually that is marinated in a white wine or a sake, and doesn't contain the extra thing. They may or may not have garlic in it. The garlic flavor and the tomato flavor really enhance. But once again, once you've ever had any bowl of mussels from wherever, the second most important part besides the mussel is the sauce. The stuff that we did, very primitive stuff, we do pure stuff, but to have some sample, whether it's a pita or your bread, you're going to see everybody, once they eat their mussels, they're dipping in and soaking up as much of that sauce as possible. That's the most flavorful thing you can get. Is that correct? Am I right on that?
At the same time, like like after you eat the mussel, then you have all that soup that left there
yeah.
with a spoon and bread. That's the best part, like I said.
Exactly. So you don't want to do that on the front end, even though you're so tasted, because the aroma and the flavor is so addictive. But at the same time, if you start dipping bread, whether it's pita, French, or whatever in there, you're not going to get through the mussel, so you're missing really the featured part of the dish. But this is one dish where both the mussels and its broth, or I forgot what they call it, are equal in taste and importance. It's not like one is better than the other.
No, definitely. But at the same time, if anybody would like it with the white sauce,
there you go,
or just the white wine
flexibility,
sauce, we'd be more than happy.
Okay, there's a few other appetizers. If we have time before we go to break, then we'll go ahead and touch back on that. But let's take a look at soups and salads. Now, I'm a big soup and salad person. I think you've all maybe learned that over the years. And TJ's really done a good job of soup du jour. I mean, first of all, he has a standard soup, but he also does, and a lot of it is a variation on the same theme, using similar broth and then changing the ingredients. But so what? As long as it's flavorful and different. For someone like myself who eats soup, would love to have soup with every meal, it's a blessing to find these restaurants instead of going and have your choice of 2 or 1 soup that's the same every day. Because if you go back with any regularity, you get tired of having the same soup. So tell us about, don't you have one standard soup? Or
we
is it
have
just
the standard soup is the shrimp and eggplant soup.
Shrimp and eggplant, that's a cream base.
Tomato base, no, the tomato base.
Tomato base, okay,
yes,
sorry.
It's dark. But then every day we try to make a different soup daily, so the people who comes regular, a lot of time they're not
exactly like the day we had was just kind of a regular. The first soup we're looking at is actually it was a Monday, I think. It was a red bean soup, and I think you put something unusual, which I thought was good. I think you put some cheese, cheddar cheese or something. Huh?
Yeah, we did put.
And most people don't think of red beans and cheese.
You see, it all go back to what you like or what you try to do, and you want to be different. You don't want to copy everybody else.
That's right.
You just want to give it a signature of your own or your own character with it.
Exactly. So he's taken a New Orleans Monday favorite that day. Of course, it's not every Monday, but coincidentally on Monday, of red beans, which is a staple in our diet here, and made not only a soup of it, but introduced a cheddar cheese or a sharp cheese to the flavor that really takes it a whole new dimension. So that's how different we're talking about. Now, the other soup we're looking at, again, they look somewhat similar because they're both in like either chicken or beef broth, is I love a good vegetable soup. And he's got a vegetable medley here. Again, unfortunately, all the vegetables.
Which is like a minestrone soup almost.
Very much. And he does a wonderful minestrone because when he had all the Italian, that's the only thing this was missing is it didn't have the noodles. If you had a little pasta in there, it would have been divine. Yes. But again, we put cheese on it on the next picture. But the important thing is it's delicious. But he does a slew of them, so it isn't always, it's just coincidentally that these two look very similar. Happened to be on the days when we went for the picture taking, it was something, but he does a lot of good cream soup, and like you said, his standard one with the eggplant and shrimp.
Shrimp and eggplant soup,
even though it's not cream based, he does cream wonderful. I know he does a wonderful, he used to do a roasted mushroom soup.
Mushroom soup.
On a cream base.
Cream of garlic soup.
Cream of garlic, so there you go. So you just got to find out, if you're a soupaholic like me, you need to find out what that soup is for the day. All right, now, salads. Again, he's got a representative amount, but we only chose one since we had the 2 soups. And this one is, I think, kind of signature for him. It's distinctive, although he has a great Greek salad. And again, all of it.
The Greek salad is I think one of the best in the area.
Yeah,
definitely.
In fact, do you still serve it the way you used to serve it?
Yeah, with the bread bowl.
One of the unique things that I had never seen locally, they introduced many years ago at the first restaurant, is that he hollows out, what is it, a bread ciabatta? Bowl. What kind of bread?
A bread bowl.
And do you know what type of bread it is?
Sourdough bread.
Sourdough?
Yeah.
Takes out a bowl, a round one, a cylindrical one, hollows it out, and then puts the Greek salad in there, and then all the moisture of the dressing soak in there. I mean, you could peel off the sides. So I wish he would do it with the soups too, because I think it's absolutely a great vessel for becoming one, fusing with what it contains. But what we're going to show you is another one, even though that is probably, you're correct, your signature dish. From a salad standpoint, he does a wonderful buffalo mozzarella and tomato mozzarella. I think, let's see if we can take a look at that picture.
This is
several slices of the mozzarella.
fresh mozzarella with steak tomatoes.
Right.
Sometimes we use local tomatoes, when it's
Yes, when seasoned, of course.
Creole tomatoes and stuff like that.
And then
we top
you use
it with the cheese, onion, basil, and roasted garlic, as you see.
And you serve it normally with a balsamic dressing.
glaze and olive oil, extra virgin olive oil.
Right.
Very simple.
Really
But
simple and
delicious.
pure. But again, don't hesitate, because I think you do a wedge salad too. So
Yes.
if you want, which is also one of my favorites. But I wanted to show this one because I think he does a bang-up job on here. But like I say, you'll find salads enough of a variety. It's not just a house salad to choose from. All right, now we're going to look at some of the entrees. Again, we got several for you. Now, remember, we're balancing between Italian, Mediterranean, and some New Orleans standards. So the first one is actually using New Orleans crawfish, which of course is right now heavy season, and mixing it with pasta. Let's see if we can take a look at it. Look at how beautiful that is. Talk about, was that
This
linguine?
is maple crawfish, we call it.
Oh, maple, of
which
course.
is
There
the
you go.
crawfish
Signature name.
tail toasted with dice of red, yellow, and green bell pepper,
Okay.
onion and garlic, cooked down with a little bit of fish, seafood stock.
All right.
We add a little bit cheese, then we just toast it with the linguine pasta.
With the linguine pasta. I mean,
it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, and it's very much, for those who like soups, it's very much like a stew or a soup. That's what's good about it. It's not so
Not too
pasta
dry.
oriented. There's no sauce, anything like that. It's that broth that he's cooking in, the seafood stock that really infuses the flavor in the linguine. Now, are they able to change the pasta on this? Or no?
Like everything we do at the house, at the restaurant, and any of our
Okay.
restaurants, it's cooked to order. Everything gets
That's what I
even
thought.
the
I just-
vegetable,
I wanna-
So we will be able to do, if they want angel hair or penne or whatever.
Right. You're going to see that in one of the later dishes where I love penne and they serve it with angel hair. No problem. So, and that's again what I said at the front end about he and his brother being so flexible. So there's another little aerial view of, you can see that dish is really, really so colorful and so flavorful. All right, now let's take a look at the next one, and I believe the next one, this was a special because he does at least one special a day with his entree. And this was taking chicken. Of course, everybody does chicken, but this was not a normal chicken. Now, let's see if we can. This was a chicken, I remember it was stuffed or rolled with prosciutto and the lovely sauce.
Yes.
Tell us about this. It was really
This is
simmered
a
down
dish
perfect.
that we have in our dinner menu.
Okay.
And in here we had it. We ran it for lunch just to have something different than the chicken dishes that we have. This is what it's called chicken ruba. It's stuffed with prosciutto ham,
All right.
Fontana cheese,
Okay.
artichoke,
Uh-huh.
and basil. Then it rolled and breaded, baked in the oven, and served with the mushroom sauce.
And then on
And in
the
here
side,
we have ratatouille with it and some new potatoes.
absolutely delicious. So really well done, folks. And so I jump for it. Normally, I eat chicken a lot, but it's not always the first one off the book. I'm always looking for something a little more exotic. But this was extremely flavorful, cooked down just perfect. So it really, really was well done. So
And if you saw, like in the dish in here, we have ratatouille. Some other dishes we serve it with green beans,
Right.
broth. Every day we try to change the vegetable.
change
too.
the vegetable. Beautifully done.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now the next dish, I believe, is one of my favorites on the Italian side, and that's veal piccata. Veal piccata used to be a staple in all Italian restaurants. It's kind of gone down, slowly making it come back to Italian restaurants. But I'm talking about, there's nothing like, if you've got good tender veal done in this very simplistic sauce, it's absolutely delicious. Why don't you tell us about this one?
This is definitely the quality of the veal that we use. It has to be excellent. We use baby white veal.
Baby white, you can tell right away.
And it's pounded thin, just dusted in flour, lightly sautéed, topped with capers and lemon butter sauce. You do not even need a knife to cut it. You could cut it with a fork. That's how tender. It's a very popular dish that we have there.
He's 100%
like it.
correct there, because I did not use a knife at all, and that is the true test of the best quality of veal. If you can cut it without pressure, and we're using a fork, then you know you've got quality and tenderized food. So the taste being very, very delicate. So if you've not had veal piccata, now they do veal a lot of ways in Italian restaurants, so I'm not saying the others aren't good. But to me, this really emphasizes the taste of the veal. The others are going to cover it with the great sauces, the red sauces or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with them. But here, this to me is a true tasting of whether you've got quality veal or not.
This is the lightest of the veal that we have. We have other baby white veal with wild mushroom, brandy cream sauce. We have the marsala sauce.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. All of them are good.
Veal chop, but this is the veal piccata.
This is definitely, to me, the supreme effort here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we're going to show you one more pasta dish, and before we go on, and this is a standard, he calls it. Again, this is the one I tell you where I subbed. It's called angel hair Ziad, Z-I-A-D. Does Ziad mean anything, or is that?
Ziad, it's named after my son when he was born in '94. So this dish has been since then.
All right, now notice that's not angel hair because once again, I love penne, especially in this dish. And there are two vegetables that he uses a lot. I don't know if you and one of them is artichokes. And you heard that in the previous dish. And also, I love, in a lot of Italian pasta dishes, I love pine nuts. And even though not all of his dishes included, once again, if you ask it, he's got it in-house, he's going to roast or toast some pine nuts and put it in the dish. And it elevates it to a huge, for those who've ever eaten pine nuts, cooked, toasted, not raw, even though there's nothing wrong with it raw, you will realize what a great soft crunch that adds to this thing. So, but tell us more details of what's in the
this is the angel hair Ziad, and it's a dish that made with Gulf shrimp, Louisiana Gulf shrimp, sauteed with mushroom, which we use the 3 different kind of mushroom, portobello, shiitake, and comini.
Wow.
And we saute that with a little bit of sun-dried tomato, a little fish stock, butter, and cheese. We toast it with the angel hair pasta and the plate. And here you had requested that time you wanted to add artichoke, and you want it with the penne instead of the angel hair, and that's why it looks like this. But that's how usually it is.
Absolutely great.
It's light, cook very quick, and it's easy. If anybody wanted it with penne or linguine or fettuccine, it should be no problem because, like I said, everything cooked to order.
Once again, the broth, superb. So, for dipping, again, with the pasta soaks, especially the penne, that's why I chose the angel hair, absorbs like a sponge, the broth. And whereas the angel hair being so thin, it rushes on through it, but it doesn't infuse as well as the thicker pasta. That's why I always change it, so that way the pasta can just really soak up that delicious broth and sauce that you've done here. Okay, folks, we didn't tell you, we always have our phone lines open, so even though it's Wednesday, we don't get a lot of calls. I know the director will put those numbers up. If you've forgotten them, there's only 2 phones we use. We're happy to answer any question. We're here today with Chef TJ and owner TJ QUTOB of Maple Cafe. As we've mentioned, this is his 3rd location. The original Maple Cafe is called Maple Street Cafe, that he and his brother own and run on Maple Street. The second one was the name of his former restaurant that he relocated after Katrina to LaPlace, called Petra, named after Petra Jordan, where his hometown is. And now the new Maple Cafe without the street in it in Lakeview to really bring this great cooking. I was telling TJ one night when I was there was this lovely couple dining, and they were talking to his brother because they had been patronizing the Maple Street Cafe for 11 or 12 years, almost since day one. They bragged about it. He was so pleased to see him out there, and that's what I said, but you don't know what you've done, because now we're only like 7 blocks from our house, so we're so thrilled. We don't have to make a trip every week or whatever their frequency was. So they were just delighted. So we want to emphasize that we really want you to try this because it's a whole new ball game out in Lakeview. Now let's talk about it. We've got a few more minutes before we go back to the musician. Let's talk about a few of the other. Think of some of the. Now, I know y'all have a duck Jamil, and presumably that's named after you and your brother. Tell us what that is, so we can show a little more variety in some of the entrees.
We use the duck breast for that, which we roast, and we serve it with the blueberry sauce. Blueberry sauce. But we have another sauce that a lot of customers ask us for it, which is the fig sauce.
Yeah, you see, that's news to me. I always had it with the
Uptown restaurant, we do serve it with the
fig or the blueberry?
Blueberry.
Oh, that's why I've never had it Uptown. I don't eat blueberry.
Yeah, but we have it with the fig, and we actually use the fresh fig, and we make it with currant jelly and brown sugar and vinegar and
absolutely
delicious.
delicious. Roasted duck breast. It's not the legs. It's not. It's not overcooked or anything. It's just really, really nice. Okay, now let's talk about. Let's throw out a couple others that I haven't thought of. What other? Give us another. How about meats? And about steaks? I know you have some steaks.
Yes, we do run a lot of specials with the meat. On the menu itself, we have the filet mignon.
Okay.
And that we serve it with the portobello mushroom sauce. But we do run other specials sometimes, ribeye, some New York strip. We run a lot veal chops, sometimes different ways. Lamb, we do sell a lot of lamb.
Okay.
From lamb rack to lamb chop, different sauces, different styles.
Well, I know another one we missed, and a friend of mine gets almost everything, is fish, especially, I think, redfish. You do redfish pretty much.
Yes, we do.
Let's talk about some of the dishes that you do with the redfish or some of the other fishes that you use.
One of the simplest one is the redfish with the crab meat.
Crab meat.
Sauteed.
Right.
We do sometimes stuff it with seafood, with like phyllo dough or something like that, or puff pastry and bake it. But one of the other very popular dish that we do with meat is the asabuco.
Oh, now
that's a dish that we do a lot.
Now, is that on the menu?
No, it's a special. It's not in the menu, but we do it as a special. Anybody would like to have asabuco, just give us a day notice or two. We'll be more than happy to
we've been,
get it done.
Before you came on, folks, we had a little discussion. I had to express a little displeasure because when he had... when he changed Petro to La Famiglia, and it was strictly Italian, or 98% Italian, he had a broader Italian dishes. And one of my favorites, briciolone, was standard on the menu, and also ossobuco. And I know he does a dang good job with ossobuco, but I didn't even ask him about that when I knew when I saw my briciolone wasn't on his new menu. I didn't even think about ossobuco because I said that's even more work than briciolone. But I'm telling you, folks, if you've had ossobuco, some people are a little scared of it because they've seen people. Because the true way to eat ossobuco, besides eating the meat that falls off the bone and the wonderful pasta or whatever that's being served with it, is to actually scoop out the marrow from the bone. There's special forks or spoons to do such. And that really, of course, does gross. Some people, just can't handle that. But at the same time, you can eat ossobuco without doing that. And you're getting the same pleasure of because it's cooked down so long. I mean, I don't know how long in time.
It takes about 4 hours of preparation and cooking time to do ossobuco.
And you use beef on that? What is that?
It's a veal.
Veal change. Because I know some of them are doing it with a lamb as well now.
Yeah, they have lamb ossobuco.
Right. But it doesn't matter.
Talking about the
beef is
one.
the traditional way. And if you really want to try something delicious, I'm so glad to hear that because I know another diner who hasn't gone yet, and I know she really likes ossobuco. So I wasn't about to tell her that they don't have it at the new restaurant. So once again, you can find dishes, and if he's in a good mood, he has the stuff. I'm telling you, he will do almost anything, which is really good. We are bringing diverse for a minute before we go to the musician. We're bringing, we have a dining club. We show it here on the table. And we did one at his former restaurant last year, whereby we call it a toga party. And we do it on St. Joseph's Day. And we actually set up a little St. Joseph's altar. And hopefully most of us wear togas. And, of course, we all just pig out on Italian food. So last time he didn't want to scare off his diners, so he had a lovely private room to put us in, which was great for us and also for his business. This year, the new restaurant doesn't have that accommodation, so but hopefully we'll be on one side of the dining area, and his true diners will be on the other. But we invite you all out. That's going to be on Tuesday, March 19th. If you want to see some characters out there in full togas, or what we call togas, and tasting his great Italian food, we're really excited about it. Okay, once again, we're talking about Maple Cafe, the new location on Marina Drive, whatever it's called.
Marina Avenue.
124. 125?
124.
124. Well, you won't be able to find 125 because across the street are apartments on the marina. But 124, right next to Wasabi, down from Russell Grill, open 7 days a week, lunch straight through to dinner, so you can't beat that. All right. and we'll be back. When we come back, we'll take a look. Tell us about the wonderful beverages. And this is one time you're never short in his restaurants of any type beverage. And more importantly, we'll also take a look at a few of the desserts, which, of course, most of us, hopefully you haven't totally avoided. Even though we have a new pope, hopefully everyone didn't give up all desserts during the Lenten season. But anyway, let's go ahead and hear from our real good friend and songstress, Olga Wilhelmina, and we'll talk about the balance on the other side.
By Peg Lee.
You can't see mama at all. You gotta kiss your mama, hug her, squeeze her tighter. She won't be there to take your call. If you want my company, you get 50 me. You gotta see mama every night. Oh, you can't see mama at all. No, you can't see mama at all. Monday night I sat alone. Tuesday night you didn't phone. Wednesday night you didn't call. Thursday night's just the same old style. You got to see mama every night. Oh, you can't see mama at all. You gotta kiss your mama, hug her, squeeze her tighter. She won't be there to take your call. If you want my company, you get 50 me. You gotta see your mama now every night. Oh, can't see your mama at all. No, you can't see mama at all. Friday night you dodged my pass. Saturday night you took your bath. Sunday night you called on me, but you brought 3 girls for company. Now, I don't know what part of that is okay, but it's not okay. No, now. I said you gotta see your mama every night. Oh, you can't see mama at all. You gotta hug and kiss your mama, squeeze her right. She won't be there to take your phone call. If you are my company, baby, you get 50 me. It's gotta be 100% all the time, or you can't see your mama at all. No, you can't see your mama at all. You can't see your mama. You can't see your mama. Yeah.
All right, boy. See, I told you she could do a lot of things. A little peppy number about her mama. It was very, very good. Olga Wilhelmina. Of course, I'm sure you know that name if you follow our show with any regularity. She'll be back for one more song. Okay, as we were saying right before we broke, we're pleased to have the new Maple Cafe and its owner and chef, TJ QUTOB, here. We've gone over a lot of the menu. Now, TJ's going to let's talk about Berry, as I mentioned. First of all, you probably don't remember one of the first pictures we saw. The second picture, as you open this restaurant, it's like an arcade. It's open with beautiful columns, but the dining rooms are flank each of the sides of the central hall. But what's really amazing, he's put a gorgeous bar in, redid the bar, and made it into a scallop so that the center part is at the end of the alleyway with granite. I just really did a really great job, glass tiles, to bring it into life, make it a real prominent point. And once again, the bar is not strictly a drinking bar. It's also a dining bar. So more and more single folk who don't want a table for 2 or don't want to be put in a corner will go to the bar if it serves food and dine there as well. So let's talk about what that bar provides to the. First of all, from an alcohol standpoint, what kind of stuff are you serving to the folks?
At the bar itself, the bar is very, very beautiful. We end up making. We have the wine side, and then we have the liquor side, where we make all kind of different martinis. We have all kind of different liquors, from premium to cold to
But you
everything.
have the whole gamut of whiskey and martini, and in wines you do domestic and international.
We have both imported and
I know you
domestic.
have
We have California,
reds and
French,
whites,
Italian.
beautiful. Because my friend's a big wine drinker, and I know they test him all the time with regard to.
We have some big wines for them, and we have the local too, like California.
They really.
And we have a very nice selection from red to white to in between the Sauvignon Blanc, blush, all kind of wine we do have. We carry a large variety of wine. And then when it comes to liquor, we have specialty drinks like martinis and cocktails,
which is so popular
like
today.
that, and variety of between vodka, gin, scotch,
and then
bourbon, everything.
not only that, of course, he has a full line of domestic sodas, waters, bottled water. He also has teas, iced teas, and does a great after coffee. I mean, especially like I love black coffee poured with hot milk. No problem to ask for that. And since I don't drink, I love juices, and he's got a great selection where you can mix and have a wonderful. A lot of those are for the alcohol drinks to appeal to a lot of the ladies or whatever. But I love orange, pineapple, and if they have any other one, sometimes they'll have another one to put in together, and it's just delicious. So
we have the traditional cappuccino, which is we have the original machines, not the cappuccino and espresso, made the original way, the old-fashioned way, not the new thing where you just push a button.
Push a button, right?
No,
and that's what I'm saying.
It's cappuccino and
it's
espresso.
home brewed, so you're going to taste the difference. So that's why I brought it up, because if you're a coffee fan, this is the one place to try it after dinner, because it's very reminiscent of what real coffee is, not machine coffee. So very, very good. All right, now desserts. Now some you do in-house, some you buy from some purveyors.
Yes.
That has to be. And I think at least one, if not two of the three we're showing are things in-house, because it's a family recipe. Let's take a look at the first one, which is a chocolate cake. Everybody seems to have a chocolate cake, but this is multi-layered and multifaceted.
This is a chocolate mousse cake.
Chocolate mousse
the dark chocolate and the light chocolate.
So it starts with the dark chocolate icing.
Yes.
And then let's talk about the rest of it.
And then you have the chocolate mousse in between.
Okay.
And that give it a little bit lighter. You have the heavy chocolate and the light chocolate taste.
And then I thought it was at the bottom, but maybe it was at the top. But I know it was coated with chocolate flakes, and not flake, pieces of real chocolate just broken in.
Shavings.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the word. Perfect. Yeah, so you really had three different consistencies and flavors of chocolate together, and then of course sprinkled.
What you call chocolate lover cake.
There you go. And then sprinkled a little powdered sugar and mint.
Yes.
I eat mint. People don't, but I love to put the mint
more
flavor in it.
Presentation and look. It really, like they said, I eat before the mouth.
Now, is this something you all make or not?
No,
this is one y'all don't. But they do a great. I'm telling you, folks, this is one that you want to try, even though if you're really a chocolate lover, even though it is not made in house. So I mean, I don't want to mislead you in some of these things. Now let's take a look at the next one. The next one is basically a New York style cheesecake with. I think you do some raspberry sauce.
Yes.
That's the only thing a friend of mine would need, because he doesn't need raspberry sauce. So if you don't like drippings, or if you want it on the side or want something different than red, just once again ask your server.
We do offer different sauces like caramel, strawberry,
chocolate, yes, right.
Mango, chocolate, whatever.
Yeah, there you go. Well, some people he likes it pure, just pure cheesecake. So he didn't want to send it back, so I just had to eat it. That's where he goes. But now let's go to the later. This last one, I'm not going to let him tell you first. I want you to look at it and see if you can figure out, because this does not portray what we're really, from a visual standpoint, of what we're serving here. But once you taste it, it's phenomenal. Go ahead and tell them, TJ, what we're looking at.
This is tiramisu. Tiramisu in Italian, pick me up or lift me up. That means how light the cake has to be. Right. And it's made with lady's finger, mascarpone cheese, and cream. And that's how we do it. The way they did, they just scooped it in here, and they put it and they top it, with cocoa powder and sugar, powdered sugar in here. But when you taste it, it will lift you up. That's how light it is.
Now, isn't this someone's family recipe, they told me?
Yes,
no?
this is homemade.
I know this is homemade.
This is homemade, that we use an actual espresso. You make espresso in the house, you soak the lady's finger cookies in it, and you use the mascarpone cream and cheese, and that's how we do it.
Absolutely delicious. Now, so if you want to try in-house and you want to try just...
This is like the picture. One of the most very popular desserts we do is the white chocolate bread pudding. I know you don't like bread pudding, but it's a very hot item. We do.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
It does. We do.
Well, the other one I do want to try, and you make that one in-house,
yes,
right?
Definitely.
The other one I do want to try, which I think you said you made, somebody told me, is key lime pie, which is my favorite.
We do that, and we make homemade sometimes, not yet at this restaurant, but it coming very soon. We're going to be make cannoli.
All right.
That we make it to order, like when you order it, we're going to make it to you and bring it out.
Did you used to do it for me?
We used to do it at the other
I knew. I didn't want to say that's another one of the Italian ones that
cannoli is made fresh with the cotton.
There's nothing better than cannolis are so good, and we don't have that many purveyors of it. So many times we don't have the advantage of getting it freshly made, but at the same time, there's a world of difference between something that's freshly made, or you had to buy it or take it home or from a store or from the grocery, etc. Because once it settles, it loses that tremendous freshness of the flavor. So that'll be great. So hold him to it, folks. If you like cannolis like I do, don't make sure you ask. But I have to go back to the lime pie. The problem I have with our American culture today, and I know I'm guilty of it, that's why I got diabetes, is that we're sweetaholics. We got to have sugar on everything. And we've taken dishes, especially desserts, that have traditionally been tart or nowhere near sweet, and sweeten them up with either whipped cream or sugar that they don't even taste like their original sort. And so that's why I have to put the pressure on you that for the most part here now in the city, if I order a key lime pie, it is so sweet. Not only does it have whipped cream on top, it's got some kind of other cream and sugar, that it doesn't, key lime should be a tart pie. So I have to ask you, what did you take?
No, it is a tart. It's not too sweet.
I'm going to trust you on it until I try.
Yes, you have to try it.
But and I might be like I say, I might be the minority here, so I know you have to do what your populace demands, but I really feel if something should be tart, like lemon or lime, then it really should convey that, to make it sweet just because we want to have sugar in our bodies or crave sweets.
But you see, one other dessert we're going to be doing in the summertime is the fresh fruit, maybe with Zabillon or just
Zabillon?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
And that
now let's tell people because a lot of people, some people don't know what Zabillon is. That is unbelievable. Besides the fresh fruit in it, tell us what the basic
Zabillon
fluff
is made with the egg yolk, the wine.
Okay.
And a little bit of orange juice. You blend them together.
And fluffed it up. Almost like a meringue, but a soft.
Yes. It's soft, and you blend it with whipping cream at the end, and you just top it over the fruit, and it's very light, delicious, and natural.
Absolutely fabulous. So that is, and so that's definitely coming down the summer.
Yes, that definitely will be made fresh and served with the fruit.
Well, let's see. I think we got a few more minutes before we close up. So let's see if there's anything that you can think of, any dish or any category that we didn't do justice to that we could talk a little bit about before we throw it over to the musician. Anything that you can think of that you want to put out there about the food?
Some of the dishes that I think sometimes simple is a lot more taste, a lot more flavor in it. When you have some very simple dishes, like we have the penne caruso, which is just an eggplant with tomatoes, basil, with penne pasta. Simple and easy, but it's good. We have some other dishes.
Yeah, before you go, let me comment on that. That's one thing I do want to press is that penne caruso is like a spicy pasta, okay? And what's good about TJ's, he's not afraid to put a little spice or a little heat in some of these dishes. A lot of us New Orleanians love heat in almost all of our food. But that's what I see about it. So some people I know who come maybe have been a little standoffish because they've tasted caruso and say, "Ooh, that's kind of spicy. I didn't want spice." So if you have some particulars, like you don't like spice in something or don't like pepper or heavy seasoning, tell that up front to your waiter, because he or she will either have to doctor the dish or steer you toward something that would be bland, or if you don't want that. Me, just the opposite. I crave it. And so that's what I love, that eggplant dish with the vegetables, but a little bit of a tang, a spice, a little pepper in there that really catches you that off guard if you're not if you're not prepared for it or you're not interested in it. But go ahead. What else were you going to say? We just got a couple minutes.
One of the other dishes too is like the catch Florentine, which sometimes we use salmon, sometimes amberjack, whatever we have available in fresh fish. We grill it on the grill.
Okay.
With a light air. Then we top it over sautéed spinach.
Florentine. Is that what you call it, Florentine?
Yes, and then topped like with an herb sauce, very light and very healthy. So anybody in the diet, that will do very good for them.
And you do that with salmon, of course. And what other fish?
We could do amberjack, redfish, whatever we have available.
Tuna, fish that you have in service.
Yes, whatever we have available that day we will use. Then one of the other dish that is very popular at the restaurant, what we call chicken serene.
Chicken serene?
Serene.
Serene.
Yes, and it's
I don't think I've seen that. That's on the menu?
Yes, it's on the dinner menu.
All right, well,
it's a breast of chicken that they grill. Then we top it with a sauce made with the wild mushroom, sun-dried tomato, a little bit of chicken stock, Worcestershire sauce, and butter.
I think I remember, and it seemed too ordinary. And I'm not saying it doesn't taste, it might taste phenomenal. But I remember in readings, that's one you want to get back to whoever wrote your menu, maybe yourself, and revisit to see if there's a way to, I don't want to say sex it up, but to snazz it up to give it a little more. Because everybody serves a grilled chicken breast, you know? Yeah. And to me, as soon as I see that, I move on.
Yeah, but the sauce really makes a difference.
And that's what I'm saying. So what's happened is that you're losing the customers like me by starting, and you want to start with the core element, I understand. Okay. But if it's something that's so common, you might want to somehow wrap it around and start with the sauce and then put the chicken in it if you get a chance when you reprint the menus, okay? Because and who cares? If you sell a bunch of it, don't care, leave it as is. But I know that's what steered me away. I just dismissed it after I saw grilled chicken breast. Okay, we need to wrap it up now. So once again, we're talking about Maple Cafe, which is in Lakeview now, 3 weeks, open lunch and dinner, straight through, 7 days a week, couldn't be more accommodating. Or you can go to one of the originals. His original restaurant his brother runs is called Maple Street Cafe in Maple Street, and then in LaPlace it's called Petra's. So we want to thank you for watching. If you have a chance next Tuesday, come watch us out there at the restaurant for the Ides of St. Joe, and we'll see you at the restaurants. All right. Thank you. Let's hear it.
Song for you now. This is called "Got a Mind to Ramble" by Marlene Johnson. Well, on the wall and on the ceiling, see your face all night long, and I get so blue I wanna leave my happy old home. I'd rather be on a freight train than laying here in my beer. 'Cause I've got you on my mind and freight trains in my ear. See, I could do like those other women, stay at home and sit on down. Oh, no, no, I've got a mind to ramble, I got a mind to leave this old town. I'm gonna hail me a freight train. I'm